You walk into a room and feel invisible. Conversations flow around you, not toward you. After 60, many experience this quiet dismissal, as if relevance has an expiration date. Today, I'll reveal 5 silent habits that make people naturally gravitate toward you, not through force or performance, but through authentic presence that earns respect. Here's what happens at most family dinners now. Your grandchildren are glued to phones, your adult children debate loudly over politics, and when you finally speak, someone talks right over you. At the grocery store, clerks look past you to help younger customers. At social events, people gravitate toward the animated storytellers holding court with booming voices and grand gestures. So naturally, you might think the solution is to be louder, more insistent, more forceful with your opinions. But watch what actually happens when older adults try that approach. They're labeled difficult, stubborn, or out of touch. The harder you push for attention, the faster people tune out. Here's the paradox. True presence doesn't announce itself. It draws people in. Let me tell you about Diane, a 67-year-old retired librarian from Portland. For 2 years after retirement, she felt like a ghost at her book club meetings. She'd prepare thoughtful observations about the novels they read, but somehow her comments disappeared into thin air. Younger members dominated discussions, often circling back to topics Diane had already mentioned, as if she'd never spoken at all. She tried everything, spoke louder, interrupted more, even dressed more boldly, hoping it would help her stand out. Nothing worked. In fact, people seemed to avoid sitting next to her. She considered quitting the club altogether. Then something unexpected happened at her nephew's wedding. An elderly gentleman sat quietly at her table, barely saying a word during the cocktail hour. Yet everyone kept drifting toward him, leaning in when he finally spoke, laughing genuinely at his brief observations. Diane watched, fascinated. He wasn't handsome, wealthy, or particularly charming in the traditional sense, but people were magnetized. She approached him later and asked directly, "How do you do that? How do you make people actually listen?" His answer changed everything. Within 3 months, Diane's book club started seeking her input specifically. The shift wasn't what she expected. Habit number 1, strategic pausing. Before you speak, the gentleman told Diane, stop rushing to fill silence. Pause 3 seconds before responding. This brief stillness signals thoughtfulness, making others lean in anticipating something valuable. Habit number 2, maintaining steady eye contact while others speak. Instead of planning your response, fully absorb what someone says. This undivided attention is rare and deeply felt. People remember who truly saw them, creating lasting impact. Habit number 3, speaking in lower, calmer tones. High-pitched or rushed speech signals anxiety. A deliberately lower, measured voice conveys authority and calm. It subconsciously communicates confidence, making people trust and gravitate toward your presence naturally. Habit number 4, entering spaces without apology. Walk in calmly, claim your space unapologetically. No rushed movements or self-diminishing gestures. This quiet self-assurance shifts room energy instantly, signaling you belong exactly where you are. Habit number 5, ending conversations first. The most powerful habit, know when to exit gracefully. Don't linger desperately. Leaving while engagement peaks makes people crave more of your company, transforming you into someone they actively pursue. 6 months after that wedding conversation, Diane's entire social world had transformed. At book club, members now waited for her perspective before forming their own opinions. Her daughter started calling specifically for advice, not out of obligation, but genuine need. Even strangers at coffee shops struck up meaningful conversations with her. But here's what changed most profoundly. Diane stopped measuring her worth by how much attention she received. These habits taught her that presence isn't about being seen. It's about being felt. She discovered that the wisdom accumulated over 67 years didn't need volume to carry weight. It needed only stillness, intention, and the quiet confidence to let her essence speak louder than her words ever could. Real influence after 60 doesn't come from demanding attention. It comes from embodying the kind of presence people naturally respect. These 5 silent habits aren't tricks. They're expressions of the self-assurance you've earned through decades of living. Start practicing one today and watch how differently people respond. If this resonated with you, subscribe, like, and share this with someone who needs to hear it.